Okay, to be fair, we never really set a time when we started out. When I sent the Twitter post last night that said we'd start at 9 a.m. Some technical issues, I guess you could say, to say the least, and the fact that, of course, I forgot to mute my actual screen. That's the reason why you heard my voice in the background. Sorry about that. But it is early, so have mercy on us, literally. Welcome to another edition of a awards show podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, is Ashley.
I would have mercy on you if I'd seen that film already, but I've got to see it later this week.
There you go. And also joining us for the awards season is AJ.
Yes, I am.
Indeed. So I probably should have done this a lot earlier, and I apologize. Very sorry that we were not able to do it until now. A lot of things have been going down, and I've just been busy. So needless to say, with like work and running, it's just been kind of like, okay, I'll get to it. Oh crap, it's almost time. We have to get to it now. So that's what today is, and that's why it is Saturday, February 10th, 2018, and we are finally reacting to our official reactions, which we did on the day that the Oscars were officially announced. What got snubbed, which we'll get to, what made it in that we were surprised about, and our Barry Horowitz pat ourselves on the back for being able to go perfect in our categories. That's what we're going to do tonight. So this is our nomination discussion, and if you stick around, join us later today, and by later today, I mean almost instantaneously afterwards, as soon as I set up the call. We're going to be talking about our BAFTA predictions. So we're doing two podcasts for the price of one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what's going to happen. So if you're into the awards coverage here on Popcast Network, then stick around for the next few hours because we're going to give you all that and then some. So let's talk about our actual Oscar nomination day itself. It was a very interesting day given the fact that I had to get up super early. It almost felt like I was watching New Japan, but it wasn't that early. And I guess you could probably equate it to when I run, because usually I have to get up at like 5:30 to run, because being able to work out the scheduling for 3 people makes it really hard to figure out exactly if you're going to run early or late. So because of that, we had to start it early, and I had to go to work pretty much immediately afterwards. That's the reason why you didn't get anything after that. And then, of course, we got busy. Well, I got busy, and that's why we sit here today to talk about the Oscars. No, this is not our Oscar prediction podcast. That's coming later. This is just reacting to the reactions to exactly what got nominated. So my rambling bits aside, let's get started. Welcome, Bry Guy, to chat. If you are live in our chat room, welcome. And if you are lurking and not chatting, still welcome. Welcome, everyone, to joining us today to talk everything Academy Awards here on the Popcast Network. So, Ashley has been keeping track all season long, and I forgot to send it to AJ. I'm sorry. Super busy. I was kind of, as you saw earlier, Ashley, I was kind of working on something, so I completely forgot to send that.
The only updates that we have, this is the awkward thing of doing it today, because we can't finish off the guilds completely.
Nope.
Because the DGAs came out last week, and AJ got 2 for 2 again. Del Toro getting Shape of Water for best feature film, and best first time we all got right with Get Out.
Yeah, that was one of the most obvious awards in the entire award season.
What's the figures like, AJ, on terms of DGAs evolving into Oscars?
Pretty accurate.
Right.
Lately a lot more accurate than PGA.
Mm-hmm.
I think ever since it kind of became undeniable back in 2010, when everything was heading in the social networks direction, and then Tom Hooper took DGA and changed everything.
Throw everything out the window. Yeah. I vaguely remember that now. Yeah. So yeah, the WGAs are happening in about 11 hours, 10 hours
Yeah.
ish, or at least the announcement of who's won is going to be in.
For what it's worth, USC Scripper is supposed to be today too.
So we're kind of on the cusp right now of being on time and still late at the same time.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's just how it works. Brad Guy mentioned also WGA's tomorrow. And did you hear that Jordan Peele is no longer going to act and he's going to direct full time now?
He made a joke that it was because of the Emoji Movie.
That's fair. That's fair. If it means that he's gonna be able to get juicy stuff that he wants to do, because is he still helming the sort of Twilight Zone series that CBS All Access is doing?
Certainly looks like it.
Because I can't remember. I know they announced it, but I can't remember whether he was being attached to it anymore. CBS Jordan Peele. Thanks, Google. Give me help.
I mean, the last message I've seen about it looks to be December 6th.
The reboot got greenlit last month.
Yeah.
Well, 2 months ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's February, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Just when it gets to the point of how is I, Tonya legally in the BAFTA? We'll get to that fucking rant.
When we get to that later today when we talk about the BAFTAs. Welcome, guys, to chat. So yeah, I mean, lots of things going on.
It's because looking through, I mean, probably one of the biggest ones is there's nothing for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that didn't occur to me until like 2 days after the fact.
Yeah. Wonder Woman got snubbed completely.
And I think
part of me wonders whether that's the Justice League effect.
Worth noting that I was the one that said in the prediction video, they're going to try to give Wonder Woman as much as they can.
I remember that. Ooh.
They turned on it because, Warner Brothers and Justice League. Doesn't get better when, let's do a serious Flash film from the guys that brought you Vacation.
God.
It sounds ominously bad. I guess the other big snub.
I can think of some more big snubs than that, but we'll get to that later.
Well, I'm just trying to look through in terms of. I mean, I guess if you look at the sort of minorish categories, the fact that Jane didn't even get in documentary feature, despite the fact it actually won, I think, PGAs, and I think it was it Critics' Choice, I think?
And it's like, basically what it comes down to is Jane was a victim of the Hoop Dreams Waiting for Superman effect, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. It sucks that those two movies had to be victimized by that. Of
course, then I do think Faces Places has been a frontrunner for a while, regardless.
And then the cardboard cutout happened.
Yeah.
Owen was really pissed that Greta Gerwig was next to a cardboard cutout.
So we'll talk about Owen's reactions very soon. Real quick, I just seen that it just got dropped. I might be late on this because I kind of am sometimes, but it was just announced that the SAGs next year are going to be on January 27th.
That's good to know this early.
Hang on. think Owen said that on purpose because I need to click on that and then click on the thing to look at. Motherfucker. Well, that's an interesting one. Do we cover the SAGs or do we cover the Royal Rumble, Owen?
Well, maybe the Rumble will be the week before.
No, the Rumble is booked for January 27th, 2019.
Oh, God, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Your Screen Actors Guild Awards will be the day after in the morning. You'll get 2 podcasts that day for the price of 1.
Better book your time off for that day then.
Not going to be a problem. Gaius said something that I'm sure AJ agrees with. Martin McDonough would be the snub of the evening so far.
If we're talking in terms of director, yeah. But then there is a lot of love for Free Billboards because I think is it the second highest, I think, in terms of nominations?
It has 7, Dunkirk has 8, and Shape of Water has 13.
Yeah, it's for second or third. There you go.
It could have tied with Dunkirk, but I just can't believe after having seen it. It's so like if I had seen it, I still before we did predictions, I still never would have predicted Phantom Thread got that much love.
No lie.
That's the only thing that sort of comes out of the UK, the BAFTA sort of stuff. It's the only thing that really carried over. Stuff like Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool didn't, and that sort of did, which I guess went under the radar, really.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. I know we're going to get into it in a minute, but the fact that I kept predicting, and Ashley joined me on this too, predicting I, Tonya for picture because of the fact that the editing nomination really made me think. When I was hearing the nominations on Oscar Day, I was kind of like, yeah, this is actually going to happen. And then out of nowhere, here comes Phantom Thread. It's like, nope, it's over. Because like AJ said, I had no idea there would be that much love for Phantom Thread. And thankfully, AJ was wrong about The Big Sick, and I wouldn't have been able to see everything theatrically. They're nominated for picture.
And Anderson really is a love-in with the Academy.
Big time.
Boogie Nights was up for original screenplay. Magnolia was up for original screenplay. Punch Drunk Love got ignored.
Which is a shame.
There Will Be Blood obviously is a bit memorable because it was up for picture and director and adapted screenplay, just on the Paul Thomas Anderson front. That isn't including, nominations for actor and supporting actor. Master, I don't think got anything. I think he got a BAFTA nomination, but nothing else. Inherent Vice, I think that was one of the only things that it got, wasn't it? I think it only had like 2 nominations that year.
Adapted screenplay and costume design.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Phantom Thread with 6. Yeah.
It's funny also looking back and me say I had Phantom Thread in picture, but it was because I thought there'll be just enough passion for it to get it in, but apparently I underestimated it even so.
It's a shame we don't get like the actual figures that come out afterwards in terms of like how far was won in 9th place.
The big question a lot of people were talking about was we're not sure anymore what's 5th between Dunkirk and Phantom Thread.
That's certainly a consideration. So going for all of them for visual effects.
Hold on, more trivia first. Not trivia, but more chat room real quick. So Bry Guy says it's interesting because AJ predicted PTA for director back in September.
Yeah. It's the whole how last year when I was predicting Villeneuve all the way up until the last time, and then I didn't.
Yep. And Guy says, when was the last time only one of the 5 adapted screenplay nominations got into picture?
Yeah,
So anyway,
it used to be the other way around, where Adapted had all the really strong contenders, and Original was just kind of maybe have filler in one or two places, but Original's really taken over the past few years.
perhaps it's because there's so many remakes that are going around, not even included in the award stuff. But it's like original stuff's actually getting more acclaimed right now.
Yeah, because not to snub Vanessa Taylor or anything, but all 5 director nominees wrote their own scripts.
Yes. Which
and it's cool to think that had McDonough gotten in, it would still be the case.
Because trying to see which one of the 5 directors is. I'm guessing Dunkirk could be technically adapted, wouldn't it?
I have no idea. It might be technically original because all the characters are fictional, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But because it's based on a real event, it's hard to describe, like it was with Darkest Hour, and I still don't know where that is because nobody put it in anywhere. So I was like, right, thanks. I'll leave that up in the air. But yeah, certainly. Because I'm trying to think. Did Nolan do? Did he co-do the screenplay?
I'm pretty sure at the very end it just says written and directed by Nolan.
No, yeah, you're all right. Just clicking on the link.
That's what it says here too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's. Oh wait, hang on. Really? So that's an interesting one. I've just noticed this as well. The director of Faces Places might be getting 2 Oscars.
Interesting.
Because he's already got the honorary Oscar.
Oh yeah.
Along with Charles Burnett, Owen Roisman, and Donald Sutherland. And I guess, because I don't know whether this one's already been dished out or whether they'll actually do it at the Oscars, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu for the VR film experience thing. Carne Arena. I guess the film that Alfonso Cuarón could have made instead of making, what was it called? The one about the immigrants? I don't even remember off the top of my head. I think was it like in contention as the Mexican entry for like foreign language last year? I think it.
Desierto.
Yeah, Desertio, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Something like
JDM and Gil Garcia Bernal.
Yeah, that made my top 10 that year.
Yeah, it did. That's how I remembered it.
Yeah, because his son made that movie. Yeah.
But it's sort of a similar sort of theme.
Yes, I just called Jeffrey Dean Morgan JDM like I'm his best friends with a comedian or something. It's the internet.
In terms of the other stats, thanks to people finding this already on Wikipedia, we got a record broken for the number of married couples sharing nominations. Because obviously you got Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, Heroin, I believe, Traffic Stop, Negative Space, Big Sick, Coco, and Loving Vincent.
God.
All with married couples. Obviously nominated either in terms of screenplay or song or producing and whatever. Also, we've got the highest number of actors that have appeared in more than one film that's in the Best Picture. So you got so the crossover got people as Chalamet, Caleb Landry Jones, Tracy Letts, Catherine Newton, Nick Searcy, Bradley Whitford, and the legend that is Michael Stuhlbarg. Will he ever get a recognition? Despite
Yeah, it's
being in
coming.
3 of the films. Oh, and Lucas Hedges as well. Sorry.
It's coming. It's coming sooner rather than later. We said this about Richard Jenkins. We said this about Paul Giamatti, and now we're saying this about Michael Stuhlbarg.
It was Stuhlbarg. Apparently, Stuhlbarg was the first actor since Thomas Mitchell in 1940 to appear in more than 2 Best Picture nominees, but not get a nomination.
Oh yeah, okay. I was about to say John C. Reilly, but he got that nomination for Chicago.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh wow! So they just looking back to 1940, they had 10. So the tradition is doing a long list rather than a short list.
Yeah, they had 10 up until 1943. 1943 was the last one before 2009.
Agnes Varda becomes the oldest person nominated overall. James Ivory, who's 1 week younger, is the oldest man nominated in Academy Award history. Plummer gets his own record broken in terms of oldest actor to be nominated. The Post is the first Meryl Streep film to be nominated for Best Picture since The Hours, which goes to show you that she might get like award nominations.
Her movies don't.
But the films don't. Daniel Kaluuya is the first Best Actor nominee since Nicolas Cage to not compete against the actor to whom they lost the Golden Globe award to. And also, as you previously mentioned, AJ, Stuhlbarg's the first actor to appear in 3 Best Picture nominees since John C. Reilly. That was Meryl Streep's 21st. Oh, go ahead.
Guys brings up Billy Boyd for Master and Commander in Return of the King.
That's 2. We're talking about 3. I don't know what films Thomas Mitchell was in 1940. I'm not an expert in films that came out in 1940. I apologize. I can't go off the top of my head. Meryl Streep
by
was on
1940.
21st.
I assume they mean the 1940 ceremony, so the 1939 movies.
Yeah, let me see.
Because he was definitely in Stagecoach, because that's what he won for. That's all I remember.
Yeah, the ones that are listed for 39 and 40: Little Accident, Stagecoach, Only Angels Have Wings, Gone with the Wind, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Swiss Family Robinson, Angels Over Broadway, Shit Done. Shit Done. That's the technical term. Shit Done. Meryl Streep's got a 21st nomination. John Williams with his 51st. Holy shit! I thought Meryl was the hog. Bloody John Williams. Keep it down, son. Jeez. Blimey. Greta Gerwig becomes the 5th woman filmmaker to be nominated for Best Director.
Ooh.
Along with Del Toro becoming the 5th Latin American filmmaker to be nominated for Best Director as well. And, because we're sticking on the 5th form, Jordan Peele, the 5th Black filmmaker to be nominated for Best Director. As well as the first Black filmmaker to get nominations for producing, directing, and writing in the same year. And the 3rd filmmaker overall to do that in their debut feature as well. And he probably won't get anything because, well done, Academy. We talked about, I think at the time, about Rachel Morrison being the first woman ever nominated for cinematography for Mudbound, I think.
Yeah.
And, wow, this is hard to think as well. Nolan's nod for Dunkirk is the first time he's got a director nod.
Yeah. Because there was like a whole meltdown when he missed for Inception, because he was like, I'm still not sure how that happened.
Because, as it says here, he was nominated by the DGA 4 times. I'm guessing that's probably Dark Knight, Inception.
I want to say Memento.
Damn it! I clicked on the wrong name. I need to. Didn't click. I shouldn't have clicked on the DGAs. I should have clicked on the other one. Awards and honors. Oh god, it's on a separate page. It's too much. Where is it? DGAs. Memento. Oh, it actually did. They did go for Memento. That's impressive. Yeah, Memento, Dark Knight, Inception. That's a surprise. Dee Reese is the first African American woman to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. The second to be nominated for writing since Suzanne de Pass for Lady Sing the Blues back in 1973. Yeah. The Post holds a distinction for Spielberg's lowest ever Oscar tally.
That's interesting.
I guess that you could say was a snub as well, but it's sort of perhaps this is why you shouldn't make films that are award bait, because sometimes they go no.
I remember a few people calling me insane many months ago when I said that Spielberg wouldn't be making it.
Well, it's like the fact that he made it such last minute, when you can clearly see the thing that he's more passionate about, I'd say, is Ready Player One. Especially because, oh, look, he's doing, West Side Story next. That's weird. I guess the thing about West Side Story is he going to do it old style or is he going to modernize it? Because I don't think we've heard anything about that yet.
I'd actually be surprised if it wasn't modernized.
Because if it was sort of like remade in the same time, it'll be like, is it a necessary remake? Because the first film's so iconic anyway.
Yeah, I guess that would depend on if they I don't know. It's lose-lose because if they keep the same style of music, it feels pointless. But if they change the style of music, it's gonna fuck it up.
Yeah. The 4 nominations for Mudbound means that's the biggest nominations haul that Netflix has had. Get Out's the first horror film since Black Swan in 2011 to be nominated for Best Picture. And the first, wow, so that we were talking about, films early in the year never get recognition. What do you guys think the last film was that came out in February that got nominated for Best Picture?
Silence of the Lambs.
Grand Budapest.
Somebody's reading Wikipedia.
I know that off the top of my head. As a matter
all right.
In response to Owen, Grand Budapest was March.
Well, at least that was close. I knew it was around that time.
Certainly, earlier in the year, but yeah, it's because that's, I guess, the next thing we have to break is some film comes out in January and gets the actual recognition.
Yeah, because remember I said that when we did the very first video because one of you said Get Out, and I said, "Oh, what you think it's Silence of the Lambs or something?" And
yep.
No. It's not Silence of the Lambs. Because it probably is not going to win that much. Unlike, because I think Silence of the Lambs got, at least 3. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It swept. It won the big 5.
Oh, it won all 5, right?
Picture, director, actor, actress, adapted screenplay. The only other movie to do that where it happened one night in Cuckoo's Nest.
Mm-hmm. Logan's the first superhero film to be nominated for adapted screenplay, and the first superhero film to be nominated for screenwriting since The Incredibles. Really, The Incredibles got in for screen?
Yep.
Jeez.
That movie's a masterpiece. Not enough people realize that.
Oh, when they see The Incredibles 2, they'll go, "Why can't we just have the first one?" God, that needs to deliver. We'll have to see. What was the Bright Guy saying in chat?
Bright Guy said the Post almost felt like Silence last year.
Yeah.
It was very close.
Yeah, but Silence was long. and it sort of did feel like it dragged a bit at certain points. Whereas the Post just the only time it really dragged is when it shouldn't have done, which was the tense bit at the end when it was like a chase in terms of printing a paper. I don't know.
Fury Road was in May as well.
Interestingly, Phantom Thread is the first and only, because if he is retiring, Daniel Day-Lewis for movie that was nominated for Best Picture but didn't get writing nomination.
That's kind of the transition back to Silence of the Lambs. Did anybody stay long enough during Phantom Thread's credits to see that it was dedicated to Demi?
Yeah,
I thought that was a nice
well,
touch.
at least I know what to expect in the credits on Sunday.
that's cool.
I've got to stay now.
It's dedicated to Demi.
Three Billboards is the first movie to get 2 nominations for supporting actor since
Bugsy
in '92. Yeah. And the first Best Picture nominee that won the People's Choice Award at the Toronto Film Festival since The Big Chill in '84. Sorry. Yeah, no. No, am I reading that right?
Surely not.
70. Hang on. I click on the link for 1984 and it says the awards ceremony was 1974. Come on, get your act together, Wikipedia, you bastards. Chalamet and Kaluuya's nominations mark the first time since Branagh and Cruise in 1990 in which there were 2 20-something Best Actor nominees. I think Tom Cruise have been far and away.
Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. What would Branagh have been?
Henry V.
Oh, wow, I can't remember that. Yeah. See, all I can think back is to 81 and Chariots of Fire and the whole British are coming, because it's like they never really did.
Not to brag, you're the one looking at Wikipedia. The only thing I'm looking at is this picture of your face on Google Hangout.
There you go. That's appropriate. Chalamet is the first actor nominee born in the 90s, as well as the first for a movie in which they didn't receive top billing since Ben Kingsley in 04. Didn't he get top billing for Call Me By Your Name?
Who are we talking about?
Chalamet.
Yeah, Armie Hammer's first.
Hammer does.
Because I remember when I saw it, that kind of threw me off.
Weird. Mary J. Blige became the first person to be nominated for acting and songwriting in the same year. Denzel has got 8 nominations now. Octavia Spencer ties Viola Davis as the most nominated African American actress with 3 nominations. Yeah, the best sound mixing and sound editing categories matched for the first time ever. So I was sort of figuring that was right. So yeah,
like ever in history.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Ever since they've actually had mixing and editing, I guess as 2 separate categories, because I'm guessing in the early days they might not have worked it out the difference. I don't know. Yeah, it's the first time that the 2 have matched. So, I mean, I sort of figured it was a thing. I didn't think it would be that accurate. Also, Jacqueline Duran's nomination or more than the double nomination for Beauty and the Beast and Darkest Hour is the first in the costume category as well, since Sandy Powell got it, I think, 2 years ago for Carol and Cinderella.
Yeah, that sounds right.
As well, and because this is more trivia than stats. The first Best Director lineup to have only 1 nominated film with more than 2 words in the title. That's trivia. Would have been if only Martin McDonagh had got in then you'd be like, "What? the one film's making up for the other ones with low bloody titles.
I think that's the signal we can probably start doing individual categories.
Yeah. So visual effects. We had Blade Runner 2049, Guardians Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes.
If I had just predicted what I wanted, I would have been right.
So technically, 3 of the 5 films have some sort of credence to Andy Serkis.
And we all predicted the same 3 films, and we all got the last 2 wrong.
Yeah.
Were we all going Dunkirk and Shape of Water here?
Actually, it looks like Ashley. Did you
go? I went for Valerian. I thought we none of us got Guardians. I guess Guardians would have been the mainstream one. You know, the CGI one that I would have gone heavy on.
To be fair, I said this last time, and to be quite honest, I did not go for Guardians or Kong because I didn't really have a point of reference because I didn't see either one of the films. So I didn't realize how much visual effects were involved in both movies, other than the trailers I remember seeing back forever ago. Back when I was still living in West Virginia.
Obviously, this is the perfect lineup, but I honestly feel like it would have been really inspired and really cool if they went with Okja here. The fact that it made the short list is amazing in itself.
Yeah.
I think the thing keeping me from having actually predicted Guardians was that I had it in makeup.
Right.
Which made sense. On editing, we had Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Let me get this fucking bullshit out of the way. Obviously, the Editing Guild has been released, and I, Tonya, defeated Baby Driver. I don't know what fucking world they live in, but I feel like, obviously we're not doing this yet, but I just want to say, I feel like that in itself pretty much sealed up who's going to win this.
After now having seen I, Tonya, was it trying to be The Big Short?
Everybody keeps saying Scorsese, which obviously you can see a lot of The Big Short in, because The Big Short was just trying to be the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, true.
Well, once again, being the Tonya Harding historian of the network, I will state that everything was identical to exactly how it played out in real life. That's the reason I clung to the movie.
Apart from the fucking dodgy CGI faces.
Well, that's something you have to do, obviously. I didn't say it was the right decision, but that has nothing to do with editing.
It looked like you took bloody Tony the Tiger's face off the Frosties packet and you just stuck it on with sellotape onto the screen and like, there you go.
That was one of the most British things I've ever heard Ashley say.
It didn't look natural. It literally just like, you know, cut an image out, stick it on the image, and it works.
But here's
the movie in general. I'll continue.
But here's the good thing. Obviously, once again, we're not doing predictions yet or anything, but just to keep myself at ease, this is what I have to tell myself to sleep at night, is the fact that you look at the fact that obviously that makes the contender. If that shuts out Baby Driver, the fact that I, Tonya beat it for the Guild, that means it's down to I, Tonya and Dunkirk. And last year showed us, even when the movie is flashy enough that it looks like an absolute shoe-in, they'll still go with the war movie.
Yeah.
So I still feel okay about that.
Fly Guy mentioned in chat Denzel missing BAFTA again, and what about Kobe Bryant?
I can tell you why Denzel missed BAFTA. They didn't bother to fucking show it.
That and that's just the thing. He's never ever been nominated by BAFTA.
Nope.
Because the film released 2 weeks ago now. Or no, I know it was last week or the week before. Can't remember. If I had to go and see it, I'd have had to travel an hour and a half.
Jesus.
Been there.
You know, in fact, I sort of now having now looked at it, I regret now seeing Last Flag Flying because it's on Amazon fucking Prime already. After like 2 or 3 weeks, so it's like, oh, go and see it in cinemas. Tell your friends. How? The cinemas in London showing it. Nowhere else in the bloody country is. Great job, guys. Then again, I got a free ticket out of it, so I'm using that for Phantom Thread.
So am I the only one that didn't get a free ticket this week? Anyway.
What did AJ get a free ticket for?
My showing of the 1517 to Paris was fucked up because of the projector, but it wasn't bad enough that it was unwatchable, but they just couldn't fix it. It looked a little clearer than if you watch a 3D movie without glasses.
Oh wow.
Honestly, it was easy to get used to, though. Not that it mattered, because it
Well, here's the question. And I'm posing this to you, AJ. Was there anybody working that could have fixed the issue?
Oh, I really don't think so.
So once again, it comes down to something that I definitely could have fixed in a heartbeat, because I would have been watching it with you, and I would have been able to save a lot of readmission tickets being handed out.
But I will say this: the fact that I get to see my next movie for free is the best thing I can say about the 1517 to Paris.
Ooh. that review went up yesterday, technically today, because yesterday video was late because time. I will say with editing, Ashley was 100%. Went
Yes.
5 for 5.
Spoilers, I'm saying it now. I actually won the predictions. But it was close. I think it was like 4 points if you want to allocate correct predictions to points. There was 4 points separating the 3 of us.
It's AJ and Ashley battling for the competition right now, and I'm kind of in last place. But I mean, it's okay.
Oh, hang on. No, because I wanted to make it a separate thing. If you go on your spreadsheets,
I'm on my spreadsheet right now.
I had 91 correct predictions. AJ had 89 and you had 87. There was only 4.
Okay, I don't feel as bad now.
In terms
at any rate,
we were pretty much on the nose for most of them.
I don't suppose anybody remembers what I was predicting and editing in place of I, Tonya, because I've like totally forgotten now.
Oh yeah,
I was getting to that.
Molly's getting Ladybird with the one.
And I predicted Ladybird.
Oh, yeah.
That's my contribution to this. I'm basically telling what we didn't predict that didn't get in.
Is Molly's game somewhat of a snub? Possibly. Because I feel Chastain's performance might have been stronger than Streep's.
The fact that it got, honestly, even though it was an expanded category because of the tie, I really thought the PGA nomination for Molly's game was telling us something, but apparently not.
So next up, costume design. So we've got the 2 nods for Jacqueline Duran for Beauty and the Beast and Darkest Hour. We've also got Mark Bridges for Phantom Thread, Luis Sequeira for Shape of Water, and Consolata Boyle for Victorian Abdul. Because they like their period stuff.
So this is when we found out, once again, this is the start of the Academy doesn't care about Wonder Woman Day. AJ went with it, and it was like, nope. And we both went for The Greatest Showman, and they didn't go for that. No. And Ashley went for Murder on the Orient Express.
Which was the one that I missed? I guess Darkest Hour, which should be the same thing. I didn't think they'd do a double nod. Then again, I predicted that, I think, in the music category, which we'll get to. But whatever.
I actually think Greatest Showman did miss here, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying it because I really love the movie. I'm saying it because costumes was a big part of why it was a lot of people enjoyed it.
Although I'm not a fan of the tone of the score. I mean, we'll get to that in a bit, but I can see what you mean in terms of the costumes.
Totally.
But again, if we look at the trend, we haven't got any contemporary or futuristic stuff in here. It's all historical based.
Shape of Water.
That's historical, I'd say, because it's set in the 50s.
Well, yeah, but it's definitely like a sci-fi look to it. So I mean, it's.
No, but it's
I
not.
see where you're coming from, though.
The cost. Well, none of the.
Well, here's the
the monster would be treated as makeup and hair because of
Right.
the prosthetics and everything, rather than costume. I would say. Speaking of, didn't even get any recognition. It went to Darkest Hour, Victorian Abdul, and Wonder.
Bry Guy had
look fat, and look deformed.
Bry Guy had I, Tonya and Murder on the Orient Express. Editing was Blade Runner and Get Out. Visual effects was Dunkirk and Shape of Water.
Same as us. So yeah, makeup and hair. For once, they actually didn't go with the, because for the last few years they've gone with the blockbuster in here, along with the two regular ones.
We all missed one.
Yeah.
You guys went Guardians, and I went with I, Tonya.
Which part of me is now wondering whether makeup and hair is now more about prosthetic style stuff than actual like hair.
I mean,
I'd say Victorian Abdul was involved in that.
I would say so.
They plumped up Dench to some extent, and other characters.
I mean, I didn't think Wonder was going to be as big of a contender here as it ended up being. That was my mistake. That's the one I regret.
The fact that I still can't figure out that was the actual kid from Broom shows you how good it was, the prosthetics. The most important category, best cinematography, was Shape of Water, Mudbound, Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, and Roger fucking Deakins.
Yeah, I really should have been a lot more. I should have been a lot less dismissive of Darkest Hour here. That might have been that's a big mistake for me.
Yeah, I think I left it out also.
Yeah, it's the only one you missed. You had Lost City of Z in its spot.
I went with 3 Billboards, weirdly enough.
Yeah, we went with 3 Billboards, and I went with Call Me By Your Name.
I guess I didn't. Yeah, I didn't go with Mudbound because of my Netflix policy.
I really just, for some reason, it was just like, I'm going to be like the only one in the world that predicts the Lost City of Z. I'm going to be the only one that's right about it. And then, yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, I trust me, AJ. I've definitely know what it feels like to be on the top of the mountain and no one else is with you, and you're basically there freezing to death. So I get that completely. I went with Call Me By Your Name. I love this. I actually enjoyed the cinematography here. And 3 Billboards, I don't think should have missed it either.
That was a strong film as well in terms of the cinematography. Can't remember what I went with Darkest Hour.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing around, a lot of people consider Call Me By Your Name like a legitimate snub.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah, certainly. Well, if you look at his previous work and everything as well, it's been sort of a cinematographer's dream in like Bigger Splash and I Am Love and everything. So it sort of fits.
And AJ, since I'm going to bring it up eventually anyway. After rewatching it last night, I'm 100% in the same boat that Darkest Hour 100% deserves cinematography. The nomination is definitely warranted.
Next up for production design, we got Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water.
Perfect for AJ.
Every single damn year, this is my worst category. And yes, fucking all of them. It's amazing. I have no idea how that happened.
Here's my $1 million question. Ashley went for Murder on the Orient Express, which, I mean, I understand. But what world do we live in where a movie where it has basically is a literal designer movie, does not get into production design. Phantom Thread missing here really shocked me.
Because what you're referring to goes more like it's this. What you're saying would be more appropriate if it missed in costume design.
From what I've heard from it, in terms of like the sort of sprawling sort of corridors and everything, because I believe there's a bit with like a spiral staircase where it does stuff like that.
Mm.
I could certainly see it in contention for that. I guess the surprise there well, even though it had nominations and recognition beforehand, Dunkirk, because how do you production design a beach? But then again, the fact that it did use thousands of extras rather than, I think there was some CGI used in terms of the actual soldiers, but
That was
as much as it as possible was what I think they did is they used the same soldiers like 3 or 4 times at different areas and spliced them in together. So it's sort of CGI, but not.
Well, and another thing too. I mean, I guess the only example I could think of is Beauty and the Beast canceled it out. But how could a period piece like Victoria and Abdul actually miss? In production design, it's almost like it goes hand in hand every single year. Costumes and production design usually go to the period piece, at least for nominations.
Well, again, apart from Blade Runner, they're all technically period.
Yeah, going back to the Dunkirk thing, that was the question I kept having when we were talking about The Revenant a couple of years ago. It's like, I'm not sure what production design is when most of it is outdoors. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
Right. So real quick, we have Bry Guy missed I, Tonya for makeup. He got perfect in cinematography, and production design missed Phantom Thread.
So we might as well bung these two together, considering, we talked about it, they're the same. Sound editing and sound mixing went to Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi, the surprise, at least in terms of the double, to some extent.
I had it perfect for mixing.
No, but again, the fact that it doubled.
The one that I was convinced wasn't doubling was Baby Driver. I had assumed it was just mixing, and that it would be like a nice surprise that it got in there. I didn't realize it totally had a spot in both places.
Right.
No complaints whatsoever, by the way.
AJ went for Apes and Wonder Woman. Ashley went for Detroit and Get Out, and I went for Apes as well.
Is Detroit a snub overall as well? I don't know. It's sort of released at the wrong time. I'd say you could consider it a snub, wouldn't it be? I mean, I understand why it came out when it did, because it was to try and coincide with the 50th anniversary of the thing. But could that have hurt its chances?
Possibly.
So I know quite a few people have put it in terms of one of their best films of the year lists and everything. So then we get to the music pair. So we'll start off with the original song. So we've got Mighty River from Mudbound, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, Remember Me from Coco, Stand Up for Something from Marshall, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman.
It's getting for Marshall.
It's getting more and more as if Coco is not going to win this.
I still got its back. The thing here is that my first thought is there's 2 songs that fit into the important category, and maybe they cancel each other out. Not to mention, I'm not just being bitter that Mary J. Blige was nominated supporting actress, but I would also just like to mention that the real stars of Mighty River are the backup singers. So I don't.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, we know who's doing the songs. obviously Mary J. Blige is doing Mighty River. Sufjan Stevens doing Mystery of Love. Keela Settle's doing This Is Me. Andrea Day and Commons doing Stand Up to Something. Apparently, Miguel and Natalia Lafourcade are doing Remember Me, as in the upbeat one that's at the end of the film. This is a fucking mistake.
That's a big mistake. That's not the song.
If you have either the actual kid Miguel and the voice of the granny do it, or Gael Garcia Bernal and the kid do it, because yes, after seeing it a second time, I cried at both of them again. Both times. At the end, I didn't cry because it's just like, what is this generic shit?
Not especially given the context of the movie. Like, it should be Gael Garcia Bernal.
Yeah.
For maximum impact.
Yeah. Get him up there, not some other people.
And I'm sorry, and I'm still gonna state this, and I'm gonna say it forever and a day. This Is Me is the wrong song to get nominated from The Greatest Showman.
Any song from The Greatest Showman would have been the wrong one, though.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer, sir. Wrong answer. I went with Cher and Diane Warren from Cries from Syria, and AJ went with City of Ghosts. And
we really overthought this.
Ashley went with Beauty and the Beast, which actually would have been an idea that would have made sense, but I guess not.
That's what you get for fucking auto-tuning your shit, Disney.
I'm still bamboozled by the fact that yes, the one that was auto-tuned might have been Mia in bloody La La Land. Fucking scares me.
I feel like a complete idiot because I could have had this 5 for 5, but the one that I missed, I think, was one of the most obvious. Did I, for some reason, leave out Mighty River?
Actually, you did not. Hold on. Yeah, you did. No Mighty River. As a matter of fact, I'm the only one that went for Mighty River.
My bias against Mudbound really fucked me over.
That's what happens sometimes.
I did predict it in cinematography, though, and screenplay. So.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Bry Guy missed Prayers for This World from Cries from Syria, and he also missed with Blade Runner and Darkest Hour on original score.
Speaking with original score, Hans Zimmer for Dunkirk, Johnny Greenwood for Phantom Thread, Alexander Desplat for Shape of Water, John Williams for Star Wars, because reasons, and Carter Burwell for Free Billboard.
There are 2 movies, one that got snubbed and one that didn't, that I can compare, and I never ever thought these would be 2 movies I was comparing. There were 2 movies this year where I felt like I had been absolutely engulfed and surrounded by the score. Obviously, one of those was Blade Runner. Also, the fucking opening of Phantom Thread. Jesus.
Oh, no lie, man. I'm totally with you on that one.
Oh my god, that's good.
That's Radiohead there.
And I love the fact that I think I read somewhere that Phantom Thread is 2 hours and 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. 90 minutes is Greenwood's score.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And it is so good.
Then again, how much score did Hans Zimmer do in Dunkirk? Because a lot of the things that sound like aeroplane drones and everything is actually the score.
It's one of those things where it's hard to kind of differentiate for sure.
Yeah, as well. The fact that it's in there. So that's probably up there as well in terms. I wouldn't say it's 3/4, like that's sort of length.
So with score, Ashley and AJ both went with Darkest Hour. And it looks like Ashley...
It's a better score than Last Jedi.
Oh, I mean, none of us went for Jedi here. And Ashley said Blade Runner as well. And I went with my bias for Victoria and Abdul. Because it's Thomas Newman. So, I mean, which is funny, ties into AJ's review from this week, because he did He did the movie that AJ reviewed this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you mean the middle one.
Yeah, no, he did the 1517 of Paris. Yeah,
Oh, right, that was the last one. Okay, yeah.
yeah. My Disney bias for Newman, though.
So then we get to the short. So for animated short, we had Dear Basketball. Dear Lord, Kobe Bryant has an Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
Garden Party, Lou, Negative Space, and Revolting Rhymes.
Hey,
God,
there's something I can say that I wasn't able to say when we reacted to these. I was able to see all these.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the confusing thing with the Oscars, because it's at the rate we're going, I see them 14 months beforehand because they're on the previous Christmas. So I'm calling it now. Highway Rat, from the same people that did Gruffalo and everything, probably is in with a shout next year. For some reason. Also, I've only just seen the first trailer for Shaun the Sheep 2, which is fucking amazing.
We're very. I sucked this year, straight up. I only got 2.
See, the weird thing as well with Revolting Rhymes is, at least when it was shown over here, they split it into 2. They did 2 25-minute parts.
Yeah, they call it like seasons for some reason. And I don't know if I just have a different approach to it or not, but you were talking about how the reception was not very good for it. And then I keep hearing people say like they think it's childish and immature. Honestly, I thought it was pretty fucking twisted. Like, I really was not expecting that. That's
dull. If Dahl isn't twisted, it's not Dahl. I mean, that's I don't want to play the tale of the unexpected.
Literally a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you think, the Twits is about people that supposedly eat kids or whatever. So then the kids bloody get the special glue, and then they sort of shrivel to just like a pile of like flesh and bones. Hey, like, kids!
It's like, I get it. I get the wolves, obviously. When she shot the fucking pig, I did not know where the fuck it was going.
Yeah. I think the issue is that I guess people didn't like the interpretation of the art style from Quentin Blake's illustrations and how it was interpreted that way. Because the stories are sound because they're basically just dull. I think it was just the sort of the art style that people weren't fully approving of. Compared to what we've had, in the previous decade with Gruffalo and Gruffalo's Child and Room on the Broom and whatever the other one was that wasn't the Highway Rat that came out at Christmas. Because I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I was thinking, once again, obviously we're not doing predictions yet or anything, but obviously a lot of people are talking up, like, what if Kobe Bryant wins an Oscar? But the interesting thing about this is Revolting Rhymes, Negative Space, and Garden Party are all, like, go into really dark places. Whereas Dear Basketball...
Lou is happy-go-lucky because it's Pixar.
Not only is Dear Basketball, like, more heartwarming of the bunch, but it's also, like, half an ode to Kobe Bryant, half John Williams. It is Williams, right?
Don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting race, regardless.
I was trying to remember what film Lou was on. It was actually Cars 3.
Yeah.
I remember Lou. I don't remember Cars 3.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's like, I hadn't heard anything, and obviously I had just seen that one trailer. So if you know very little about it, you're probably wondering what the hell I mean by Garden Party goes to a dark place. But let me assure you, Garden Party goes to a dark place.
find that somewhere online. Have to. So for live action short, we got DeKalb Elementary, the 11 o'clock, My Nephew Emmett, the Silent Child, sorry, and Watu Wogte, all of us.
Yeah,
I think we
shorts
did
are not my
overall
friend.
mixed in this one again.
Yeah,
we did
actually,
mixed in this one as well. I think I did the highest with 3. Yeah,
you got 3, and then we got 2. We all got DeKalb Elementary, and then that's pretty much where it eliminated itself because I didn't get My Nephew Emmett, and you guys didn't get The Silent Child.
Yeah, I feel like My Nephew Emmett was the biggest shoe-in.
I just didn't know.
Witnesses had a lot of acclaim going in as well, and I think when they had the list of like the 9 or the 10, for both the animated and the live action short, I think like Revolting Rhymes and Silent Child were bottom of those lists in terms of like consensus from like a lot of people. So the fact that they made it in, it's like, screw your consensus.
But the thing about this category is we noticed that about the Silent Child, but at the same time, it's like with this category and this category's history, this is the type of thing where the Silent Child could like win the fucking thing because they're just so damn random about it.
And interestingly enough, going back to the shorts real quick. So
I've realized the Silent Child is the British one from the actress that was in the soap Hollyoaks over here. I should have been UK bias, and I wasn't. God damn it.
Bry Guy missed Fox and the Whale and In a Heartbeat, missed Facing Mecca, Icebox, Rise of a Star, and Witness only got DeKalb Elementary, and missed Alone in 160 Cameras for a documentary short.
Yeah, there are so many fucking crazy snubs here.
There usually is in the short categories.
116 Cameras and In a Heartbeat specifically seem like really good bets.
The only one that you've really got in there that will be considered seen by a lot of people probably would be Lou, and then to a lesser extent Revolting Rhymes because it was on UK television.
Because I think pre-nominations, In a Heartbeat was like the front runner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it got the critical appeal and it got obviously the YouTube views. Because I think you said it was like 400 million or something, wasn't it?
34 million, but
okay.
Close enough.
Fake news. But again, with 116 cameras, that had a lot of buzz behind it. But yeah, for documentary short, we had Edith and Eddie. Can't even say it. Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405. Heroin in an E in bracket because reasons. Knife Skills and Traffic Stop.
I did not think they would go all in on the traffic ones, but nope, we got both traffic ones.
Yeah.
And it's funny because
they're a fan of Steven Soderbergh's iPhone movie coming out this month.
You guys had Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405, and I got Traffic Stop. We didn't all get the same.
Oh, and I'd just like to say, and I'm a little embarrassed to even have to say this, but I'll be honest, I had to look this up. Just out of curiosity, but no. You're going to start hearing something, and you're going to be asking yourself something. I'm going to go ahead and put it to bed for you now, okay?
Okay.
The Thomas Lennon that made Knife Skills is not that one.
Oh, man. I can pretend that it is.
Just to be safe, I looked it up.
Good. Well done.
Yeah, I was really surprised because there was like a whole bunch of like Beatty ones. I would have thought Knife Skills was way down on the short list. Because it just seems so insignificant compared to the others.
That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
What about Kayako, the Living Shopping Baskets? Come on, that's a better title than Traffic Stop.
That's funny because that's what AJ went with.
It looked like a surefire winner, honestly.
Also, because I've only just realised this now, Ramdas going home. That's a bad title of the traffic stop. Ramdas.
By the way, I watched the trailer for that, and it looks like a fucking Malik movie.
Perhaps because of the Ramdas, that's why Heaven is a traffic jam on the 405. They would have tied in perfectly.
Wow. Well, then.
Well, hold on. Before we go on, Ashley, do you mind saying that title for me one more time?
Ramdas going home.
Hold on. I have to make sure I'm understanding what he's saying at this point. Because I know what it sounds like, and from my headphones on.
Ram as in male sheep, Das as in.
Yep, totally did hear that right.
Right. The word is DASS, but I'm saying it as Ramdas. Ramdas, brought to you by constipation.
Car Ramrod for the win.
And now I feel alone.
Join the club. Continue.
God, in alphabetical order, Ramdas was followed by a 10-meter tower. Dear Lord.
Oh my God, why?
Because reasons.
Okay, innuendos aside, 10-meter tower is a disappointing snub. But that's like, yeah, it was like actually one of the more interesting ones I came across. But it was one of those ones where I kind of knew after watching it that it seemed unlikely. But then again, when shit like knife skills can get here, I don't know. I shouldn't say shit like because I haven't seen knife skills, but you get what I mean.
Why wasn't skills spelt with a Z?
Okay, so we're talking about documentary now where we rightfully screwed up.
Well, yeah. Well, I was happy enough that Last Man in Aleppo got in.
Yeah, you're the only one to predict it too.
Well, because I'd actually seen it because it was on television over here like 2 weeks before it came out, and I was like, "Well, yeah, it's about the people. It's like the white. It's sort of like the white hats in Syria one from the year before.
The one documentary short, the white helmets.
Yeah.
Yes. So the funny thing about this situation is Bry Guy pointed something out that you may not remember, AJ. This is the second year in a row you only got one in documentary feature.
Nice.
And it was the one that I didn't even think about because it's the one from the actual person that's nominated for or getting the honorary award. So it's like,
weirdly enough, there's something you can say about documentary that you absolutely positively cannot say about any other categories.
It was unpredictable.
Netflix has got 2 nominations.
Yeah, it's like, obviously this isn't always the case, but I mean, to give yourself a good advantage at least, yeah, when you're predicting documentary, just look what's on fucking Netflix. That should tell you.
That's a fair
Icarus
point.
and Strong Island.
I don't know if they released. I don't know if they released it, but Last Man in Aleppo is on Netflix. So, yeah.
It seems like we all were under the same impression that City of Ghosts and Jane were going to get in.
They were in everywhere else.
Yep.
And then Abacus, small enough to jail, came in.
I am now sitting here feeling absolutely embarrassed that I had City of Ghosts getting 2 nominations.
I guess they don't give a shit about Matthew Heineman anymore.
Or apparently Al Gore.
Well,
at least
this time around.
You know, because I'd say I was somewhat biased by saying Heineman because, I mean, Escape Fire was the one that got the recognition, I think. Oh, no. It got nominated for Cartel Land, which I really, you know, that was the one I actually saw in the cinema because I'd heard so much about it, and then I regretted it because 4 months later they showed it on television before the awards are in. But it was like, it's something that felt like it needed to be seen on the big screen.
Oh yeah, we're actually going to go back a little bit for me to say this because I totally it's something weird and I forgot to mention it. But we're still in the documentary category, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at Dear Basketball, an animated short, and then last year our documentary frontrunner was OJ Made in America. How weird is it that it's getting, for the past 2 years, you've been able to find a major Oscar contender on ESPN.com?
Yeah, that's very random, to say the least.
When you looked at it, I think Jane was Nat Geographic. I think one of the other ones that missed out in terms of documentary short or documentary feature, I think, was like not ESPN. One like station like HBO or something like that. A lot of the mainstream TV stuff is starting to merge into the documentary stuff. So I'm calling it, put the fucking Andre the Giant documentary in next year, everybody.
Please do.
Yeah, HBO used to be the home of a lot of the documentary shorts back in the day. Like the, what was the one where the plane got shut down?
Oh, boy.
The plane.
Oh, no. Oh, that's funny. I had to bring that up. Thank you. I needed that.
People who don't know our history, Owen, think we're really insensitive for laughing so hard at that, but it's not. It's not what it's like.
Context, motherfuckers.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That is very funny. I guess you just kind of have to be there.
So then we come to foreign film. From Chile, A Fantastic Woman. From Lebanon, The Insult. From Russia, Loveless. From Hungary, On Body and Soul. And from Sweden, The Square.
Yeah, the insults from out of damn nowhere.
I
guess we're following in the trend of Salesman from last year. Going for the one from the Middle East.
I should have went against In the Fade. AJ was cautioning me to do so, and I usually should like follow his lead most of the time, especially when it comes to this category.
What great effort that did. Please consider us. Fuck you.
But you say you should have followed me, but now we know for sure to never do that in documentary. So keep that in mind.
God, no. Well, the thing is like I said, I'm so behind with everything that's not picture related right now. It's like the one movie that's jumping out at me, the hardest thing for me to see right now, apparently, is The Florida Project. I know there's only one nomination for it, but I still want to see it, and I can't, and it's driving me nuts.
It's supposed to be on, not that this matters to you, because for some reason you don't take this to your advantage, but it's supposed to be on DVD in like 2 weeks or something.
And The Boss Baby still ticks me off, because I could have watched that theatrically, and I didn't, and I never watched Ferdinand when it was here, or Loving Vincent, so, I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but still, it's annoying.
They literally did... For Loving Vincent over here, they literally did a rescreening of the premiere screening that they did, which included the live Q&A afterwards, which is a bit awkward considering it's 4 months after the live Q&A. So they just rescreened that like last week, I think, which did pretty well in terms of box office. It did first time around anyway. We might as well touch into that because, with foreign film, I think I'd say the obvious three of Square, Loveless, and Fantastic Woman all made in. On Body and Soul, you could also consider a certain contender as well. The Insult, I guess, is the left field one.
Over Foxtrot, too.
So yeah, for animated's weird because we've got Boss Baby, Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. So only one of the G Kids films makes it in.
Yeah, because I was talking about they changed the voting process on that, which is probably how Ferdinand and the Boss Baby ended up in here.
Yeah.
But then it's like, to be honest, the fact that that happened, I'm surprised that the breadwinner and Loving Vincent still were able to make it.
I don't know whether Loving Vincent is G Kids, technically.
Am I imagining things, or did Loving Vincent come out? When did it exactly? When did it come out in theaters? Did you recall?
I want to say like in the fall.
Yeah, I thought so. Loving Vincent is a movie that I had it was here for a week, and I didn't know. See, the thing is, when you don't know something is going to be impactful later on, you don't think of it. So it's always best to just watch everything. But the thing about it is I don't want to watch everything anymore. So that's the reason why you're probably not going to get a worst of the year list for me anytime soon, because I'm only going to pick to watch the movies I really want to watch, or the movies I get taken to because of reasons. So needless to say, you're not going to get, probably won't get a worst of the year. Probably won't get a best of the year video because I'm just lazy. But Bry Guy mentioned Icarus nominated at BAFTA, and it's Netflix. Foreign language missed out on, was it Felicity? I see fell sight in the wound.
Felicite.
Felicite.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm looking at how it's spelled. My apologies. Bry Guy says missing Big Bad Fox and Other Tales, Lego Batman, which has now been able to be watched since you got the DVD. Yes, Lego Batman should have been nominated without a question, and it is the Globe lineup after all. I will say there is more to the Globes than meets the eye, apparently, just like Transformers. The thing is, I make that joke every year, I'm pretty sure. The one thing that I will state right now is let's not bury the lead, ladies and gentlemen. John Cena is an Oscar nominee, and life is good.
I guess technically.
He is Ferdinand after all.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be there. Think how awkward it would have been though if Boss Baby had got in and it was Spacey doing the voice.
Would have been interesting.
That might have been the only reason why that film wouldn't have made the list. On that logic, then.
Regardless, they still would have been able to make a Forrest Winger at Glenn Ross joke.
Oh boy. So Lego Batman we all picked, and it always no. And then AJ went with The Girl Without Hands.
Apparently they hate Lego.
Yeah.
The Academy hates Lego.
I'm buying it now, honestly, with like the Lego movie and Lego Batman. I just think if you want to make a Lego movie, don't think you're going to get nominated for an Oscar because it's just not going to happen. They can make Lego Star Wars movie, which I'm sure probably will happen sooner rather than later, and it probably won't get nominated for animated feature either.
What's next? Lego movie sequel.
Lee Unkrich, the director of Coco, got a picture with Del Toro and got to stand with Margot Robbie at the luncheon this past week. That's a random group of 3 people.
Well, why didn't you stand with a cardboard cutout at the luncheon? Damn it. The best bit.
Speaking of best things, I got a perfect score on this. Thank you.
Which one?
We're in Best Adapted Screenplay now.
Oh, we're jumping into the 8, right? Yes. So, yeah. James Ivor, If You Call Me By Your Name, Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber for Disaster Artist, Scott Frank, James Mangold and Michael Green for Logan, Aaron Sorkin for Molly's Game, and Dee Reese and Virgil Williams for Mudbound.
How interesting. The director of Girl Interrupted and Copland, 310 to Yuma, and Walk the Line. No nominations for him. It took a comic book movie to get in there.
Exactly. I thought Logan might have been a bad idea until I saw the WGA nominations. And I was like, okay, maybe there's more to this than I thought there was. That's your Oscar lineup. And it's like, yep,
this is the guy that wrote Oliver and Company? Holy shit. I didn't even realize that. And one of his next films is Captain Nemo. Right. This could be interesting. And he could have done Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, apparently, or something, hadn't he?
Adapted screenplay. You guys went different directions here. Ashley went for a Hail Mary with Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool. AJ went with Wonder, which looked very possible at one point, and All the Money in the World. Right, I got perfect original and adapted missed on Wonder.
To me, Logan was the Hail Mary because of the history of like no recognition for anything comic book related.
That might be why I didn't go for it. That's why I didn't go for looking into that, because I didn't know that was the thing.
I just wanted Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool to get in somewhere because of the whole BAFTA thing.
I just want to see it. After seeing the trailer for it for the last 3 months, I actually want to see the movie.
The best use of Elton John ever.
The interesting thing about the Disaster Artist being here,
I'm so happy.
Obviously, I bet against it, but I still had Franco in.
Yeah.
The thing about that was, if somebody could have come from the future and the only thing they said to me was Franco got snubbed, the very first thing I would have thought is, oh, well, I'm definitely right about adapted screenplay then. So that's weird.
I don't like. We'll get to that because that's when I'm going to start getting angry. But we're going to get that in a minute. But you guys know before I even start exactly where I'm going to go with this.
So next up for original screenplay, we have Emily V. Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani for Big Sick, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Guillermo del Toro and Vanessa Taylor for Shape of Water, and Martin McDonough for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I should have not gone against the Big Sick here. That was my mistake. Steven Rogers was my last minute idea to slip in at the last possible second, and it didn't happen.
Let me say something very similar to what I just said. If somebody could have come from the future and told me how well Phantom Thread was going to do, I never would have predicted the Big Sick over it here.
Yeah.
That is weird. It's so weird in retrospect, Paul Thomas Anderson missed here.
I mean, I had something else getting in, but I had the wrong movie getting in. I was thinking that Tanya was going to be a surprise picture nominee, and that's why I went with screenplay. If I had editing, screenplay, the acting categories, picture, I wasn't going to go with director because the race is way too tight. So I thought it would get in on screenplay, but I was proven incorrect.
I wonder, though, if Anderson's snub has anything to do with basically how maybe he didn't want it in contention the same way that he did his own cinematography, but he refused to be in contention for that category because he thought there were too many other factors that went into it, and he didn't think he should get a sole credit for it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. There is no credit, I think, in the film, is there, for cinematography?
Yeah, and I wonder if he also didn't want. I mean, obviously, he does get the sole writing credit, but if he didn't want to be in contention for it, because every time you hear him talk about it, to my understanding, the story is that he and Daniel Day-Lewis lived in a cottage together for 8 months and basically wrote it together, despite the fact that he's obviously got the sole writing credit.
Right.
I don't know for sure, but yeah. But I would say also the whole cinematography obviously probably has a lot to do with the fact that I don't even think there's a credit.
But they wrote a film so Daniel Day-Lewis didn't have to put on an accent. Is that what you're saying? Because if you look at everything else he's done in the past 15 years, he's not had his own voice.
He might as well have it 9.
Yeah, but some of the Italian accent stuff in that was a bit, a bit too 8.5.
I will say right now that I'm not upset with the lineup at all. I'm really not. I haven't seen The Big Sick, but as much as you guys talk it up, so I would say that it belongs here for sure. So it's not a bad lineup. And we get to supporting actress, which is rather interesting.
So yeah,
Dick. What the fuck?
Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Alison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer The Shape of Water.
I'd voice my opinion on the inclusion of Mary J. Blige, but I think that'd be redundant at this point.
Yeah,
I'd like to voice my disapproval of Alison Janney being in this list.
Oh, right.
Because
I'm not going to be on this with you guys, obviously.
No, I just feel it's a more sweary version of J.K. Simmons' character from Whiplash.
But that's Lavada Harding. Come on, that's the thing that bugs me. That's how she
Melissa
acted.
Leo, the fighter?
I think she should have been there too.
Part of me just feels, though, that it's like, oh, well, you know, because she stands out, because she swears all the time, she's getting a lot of recognition. That's why I feel, you know, after having seen the film, where the fuck is Sebastian Stan?
He got completely overlooked this year, which sucked because he should be somewhere in this lineup.
Are you fucking kidding me? Look at what we have in supporting actor. He's like,
no. Hold on. This is the reason. No, that's the reason why I said if this was another year, he would be somewhere even in contention. Now he's not even a footnote because there's so many great performances this year in supporting.
I would like to think even on that, but yeah, that's
a
little bit of recognition for something would have been nice.
Because let's be honest, Plummer probably wouldn't have got in had it not been for 9 days. Nope. That's all I have to say. 9 days, and it's like yes.
So once again, we all went.
Oh yeah, on the supporting actress front, yeah.
We all went with Holly Hunter. AJ and myself went with Hong Chow, which I started with at the beginning in August.
After now having also seen that film this week, that is racist as all hell.
Yeah, we had basically. I was basically going on the fact that she had scored the Globe and SAG nominations, but then it's like, yeah, by the time we did the predictions video, downsizing might as well have not even existed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That wasn't the snub. That was the one that had the potential and just gave up on itself.
The surprise here obviously was Manville.
Yeah.
That's the big surprise because no one saw that one coming.
Yeah, it was in the back of my head because of BAFTA, but I was like, well, I think they'll only go with one of because I remember I said that I thought that BAFTA was going to secure who the last slot was. I didn't realize that it would secure 2 slots. Because I was like, oh, if Octavia Spencer gets in BAFTA, that must mean she's the last spot. And I was choosing between her and Manville.
Makes sense.
So in supporting actor, it went a bit too predictable in Willem Dafoe for Florida Project, Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards, Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer for 9 days, and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards.
Okay. AJ's the only one that missed here. But honestly, if AJ's prediction would have got in over Plummer, I would have been a lot happier.
Michael Stuhlbarg for everything.
Yeah, but I also bet against Woody Harrelson, so I can't complain that I missed.
Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy to say the least. But yeah, we have a really solid supporting actor lineup, and I could say that after all the performances, that like anybody wins this, I'd be happy with.
Just look. I mean, just having this in front of me, seeing 3 Billboards listed twice under supporting actor. I want to eat this fucking piece of paper I'm holding right now because it just is so delicious.
Sam Rockwell. That's all I have to say.
So
Woody Harrelson. That's all I have to say.
Transitioning into Best Actress, we've got
real quick before we get to some things that are gonna upset me in chat. So Bry Guy says the original screenplay determines who wins Best Picture. I I don't think so this time around.
Well, yeah, I know what he means by that. I think
I know what he means too, but I don't think so this time around.
because there is some fuck online that is trying so hard to convince me that The Shape of Water is taking screenplay.
Nope.
My exact words, by the way, to him were, he was saying, Shape of Water is going to take WGA, which means it's going to take the Oscar. That's the only way it's going to win picture. Well, obviously, that's completely wrong. But the words that I told him were, if Jordan Peele or Greta Gerwig both lose WGA, I will suck your dick.
Yeah. He told me this the other day, and I was like, you really said that to someone? And I'm like, wait a minute, I know you better than that. Yes, you did really say that to someone.
But yeah, it's basically... Well, obviously, we're not really sure if Three Billboards is in this anymore because of the McDonough snub.
Yeah.
As I lose a piece of my soul as I say that. But I mean, yeah, if for some reason that should happen for The Shape of Water, well, I mean, obviously it's more over than it already is.
Right.
But like, there's still, especially after the SAG win, there's still the possibility, and with the whole, once again, Argo was not that long ago, so given the huge support and the fact that director is a category they seem to really be kind of shaping in a different way than it used to be, it's totally believable Three Billboards could still win without the director nod. But so like, if Three Billboards wins screenplay, picture's a race up until it's called.
Yep.
But if like Lady Bird wins screenplay, which I think is also honestly likely as well, because I think she's got WGA.
I really hope so. I believe it too.
I'm not really sure that just puts The Shape of Water in a better spot. I think, obviously,
and the Oscar goes the dankest hour.
It's not even a case of if The Shape of Water wins screenplay, The Shape of Water's winning picture. It's if Lady Bird wins screenplay, The Shape of Water's winning picture. That's what I mean.
Well, Bry Guy says, and supporting actor Missed Army Hammer went with Willem Dafoe being Idris Elba and Hugh Grant, but he knows AJ is happy with Willem Dafoe being here. Yeah, I'm sure he is. But the thing is,
he was saying that he was scaring me with that shit. I was actually starting to think, oh shit!
I know.
Let's get snubbed. Now I'm scared.
But yeah, Best Actress, Ashley.
We've got Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Cerise Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep because she's Meryl fucking Streep.
I made a clerical error here, and I regret it. I regret actually betting against Meryl Streep. I thought, in my way of thinking, Judi Dench would have gotten into this race.
Well, no. Let's be honest.
She didn't even get into BAFTA, so needless to say, it was done there.
At the start of the year, when it comes to January, you always say to yourself, the Oscars the next year, you can already shoehorn in Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence. Because there's that much of a love-in with those two. And then it just depends whether the film's actually shit or not.
There were a lot of people still predicting Lawrence before the nominations were announced, even with no backup whatsoever.
The thing about you going against Streep was we obviously said this in the old video, but I'll mention it again. I was really starting to get convinced that Chastain was very much in this. Like, she was definitely a threat.
She very well could have been.
But the reason I went with Streep was because I made the mistake of betting against Streep back in 2014 for Into the Woods. And as soon as she got that nomination for Into the Woods, I said, never again. Never fucking again am I betting against her.
The great thing is, I'm guessing next year she's going to be shit out of luck. Because Big Little Lies.
Oh yeah, and we do have years like Hope Springs, where we know
true.
It doesn't get that far, but yeah. But yeah, her being added to the cast of Big Little Lies is kind of amazing, especially given the role that it is. But that takes us back into TV, and thankfully we're done with TV for the year.
Thank God.
I'm trying to see what she's doing next. That's what I'm...
Braga got a perfect an actress. Most everybody did. I kind of went out in left field here.
I can't see her getting an Oscar nomination this year.
For Mamma Mia 2, you can't?
Or Mary Poppins Returns.
She's in that?
Apparently, as Topsy.
If Mamma Mia
Topsy-turvy
gets
Poppins. She's Mary's mother.
if Mamma Mia is gonna go anywhere, it's getting nominated for comedy musical at the Globes.
Holy shit.
And get her in at the Globes for comedy or musical.
Oh,
I can see that.
This is fucking awesome. Paddingtons go to fucking war in bloody Mary Poppins Returns because we've got Ben Whishaw and Colin Firth in it. Holy shit! Right. And Julie Walters can referee it because she's in it as well. Yes,
That's amazing.
I love it.
God.
I approve.
Speaking of things I don't approve of, let's get a Best Actor.
Segway.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think there's something we've talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, who the fuck's presenting Best Actress?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's official now. He's not going to be showing up.
How about we right the fucking wrong and have Denzel do it?
Makes sense.
That is the only thing that makes sense.
Or you right the wrong from last year in some people's eyes and have Ryan Gosling do it.
Fuck Gosling.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Gosling.
Who fucking else was nominated last year? God damn it. Let me go up. 89.
Garfield. And
You could have him. Could put him up.
it was Garfield.
Or randomly Viggo Mortensen, you know.
Yes, there you
go. So for Best Actor, we've got Timothy Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for... and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
So,
let's be honest, the only reason Denzel was in this list is because of whatever specter was hanging over the whole Franco debacle thing.
And we still,
I would say.
I mean, I just...
I don't know. I like to think that... Well, here's... Actually, the weird thing about that is a lot of people are saying that... Here's... The question is which one really... If Franco was in here, who really is in his spot? Because Denzel and Daniel Kaluuya had the same going in. Oh no, Daniel Kaluuya has BAFTA, okay. But the fact that Denzel missing at BAFTA has no bearing on anything because obviously he's never been nominated at BAFTA.
Right.
So the fact that Denzel got in at SAG, and once again we have to acknowledge the fact that Franco missed at BAFTA. So that kind of balances out the Daniel Kaluuya thing. So, I mean, really, what if Franco was always sixth?
I don't buy it, though. The thing about it is still like Daniel Day came out of nowhere, too, because it seemed like he really wasn't, he had no visibility, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, bam, there he is.
People knew a long time ago he was getting in. They just couldn't vote for him because they hadn't seen Phantom Thread.
Right.
And obviously, I'm totally okay with Denzel being here because I like to think this nomination, not just because they think he should be in, but once again, it's them saying, I'm really sorry we fucked up last year, man.
Sorry for fences. I'm sorry. I know I'm extremely biased here and I don't care. I will say right now that I'm okay with everybody being in this lineup. I just think Franco belongs in here. He does. It's not because I'm a mark for The Room. It's not because I'm a mark for disaster artists in general.
But there was also the thing I said a while back. Or obviously he made it a big deal in his campaign, but I mean, even so, the Academy has a huge number of people. How many people in the Academy may have watched The Disaster Artist and don't know who Tommy is and don't know what The Room is and didn't know what the hell Franco was doing?
I could see that being the deciding factor. If you take everything, all the albatross hanging above his head right now, I would state that would be the only way I could even think that he would not get nominated. But I know people that don't know anything about The Room and loved his performance. He belongs here. He deserves to win at least something.
Yeah, he won the Globe for comedy.
Don't say the Globe for the comedy.
And the Critics' Choice for comedy.
And he's better than that. He deserves to win one more thing. And it's not going to happen, it looks like. And I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm sold that maybe he just was sixth. Because everybody keeps thinking that Denzel was the one that took his place. But I mean, Denzel got SAG.
Keep in mind as well with that Critics' Choice, if you include, if you include Hanks as well as Franco, that's the 7 that was up for Critics' Choice.
Right. Like, I mean, at this point, I know it's going to either go to Chalamet or Kaluuya, but I'd really like to see Franco get the Spirit Award.
Yeah, that
Chalamet probably has a better chance, but I mean, I want to see Franco win the Spirit Award.
Yeah, Chalamet would have run away with that, but honestly, I don't know anymore.
It's down to one of the 3.
And then it goes to Robert Pattinson.
Bobby P wins out of nowhere.
So then to the other 2. Best Director, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water.
How did McDonough miss?
Because Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's like the tiniest bit of aloe to the sunburn that it is Paul Thomas Anderson. Like if it was anybody else, like even before I'd seen Phantom Thread, it's like, well, it's Paul Thomas Anderson. I can't be mad.
Right. I mean, you can, but I mean, it's once again,
it was a dark cloud because it's like with everything 3 Billboards got, I should have been ecstatic after nominations day, but it just felt like a piece of it was missing with that.
I agree. Yeah, all of us
are establishing is you're more of a McDonough fan than you are PTA.
He's more. Oh no, I got this, AJ. You're more of a 3 Billboards fan. That's the reason why.
Well, here's the thing: McDonough didn't make Boogie Nights or Magnolia or There'll Be Blood, but at least McDonough didn't make The Master.
I like The Master, and I know I'm in the minority here.
Are you fucking kidding? Everybody loves The Master.
No, I'm in the minority on the network.
Oh, yeah.
So where does Hard 8 fit on the list then, AJ?
I think it's good, kind of.
For a debut.
Yeah, especially if it's like, especially in regards to debuts showing what the director is going to become. I think it's definitely a good, nice kind of thing there, but yeah, I don't think it's anything to get too passionate about either, though.
Here's the thing. Another thing too is everyone that I kept reading all along the internet, the so-called experts that were saying that Jordan Peele or Greta Gerwig were going to miss towards the end of this race.
Or more.
It made no sense. This was always a 4-person race. The 5th person was always question marked. And it always looked like it was going to be McDonough, and then all of a sudden here comes PTA. No one else was ever in this race. Just look at the rest of the predictions. No one else was ever in this race.
Yeah, because I think we even said very early on, before 3 Billboards was even doing as well as it was, that McDonough felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
Plus, Greta Gerwig had to get in because I love dogs, motherfuckers.
You know it.
I keep seeing that trailer on kids' films, on adults' films. It's like, my God, this is awesome.
I've seen the trailer for I Love Dogs a bunch of times. And there's 2 different versions of it, too, now that exist. There's a longer form version, too, that I've seen a lot more lately. It's like the projectionists actually did their job and put the recent trailer on there. So,
also,
sorry, I'm a little bit bitter about that.
The clip that showed up, I swear that one of the voices might be Adrian Brody.
Yeah. Look at the cast list at the very end. It's on there.
No, but I'm saying on the clip that they put out on Twitter in the last day or two. He's only even a side. He's not even a main character. He's just a side character.
Yes.
That's in it for about.
I kind of wish that Wes Anderson had done a bit of an ode to Todd Solondz by making Greta Gerwig a wiener dog, but
that'd be great.
Is Scarlett Johansson the one that says there's going to be a fight?
Sounds like it.
I couldn't tell.
And it's all about my boy Bob Balaban once again being a main character in the movie. Thank you, Wes Anderson.
Just the way Bill Murray goes, wow.
Speaking of Bill Murray, that I'm very happily sharing a birthday with him. I say that every time we bring up Bill Murray. So Bry Guy, I know we're getting into it, but he's like, Best Picture missed out on The Big Sick and Mudbound, and he had Blade Runner as his backup 10th. He said if there were 10, it would be Mudbound as a 10th. I don't think so.
I think PGA would have pushed it there. Yeah, I'm sorry, because with the Holly Hunter snub shows that even though it got in screenplay, I think Mudbound was probably a little stronger.
I think with the editing, it showed that I, Tonya was stronger, but it wasn't strong enough to go any further.
Oh, fuck off.
Molly's Game was one that was always a question mark for me. I always thought there was going to be a possibility it was going to slide in. When it started getting predicted in nominations after nominations. I was like, maybe. But, as always, we get to our Best Picture lineup.
Obviously, it got an adapted screenplay and song. I guess that was always a given. But the fact that they actually nominated Mary J. Blige does... They had to have really liked Mudbound in order to do that. There is no other explanation for why that shit would have happened.
That makes sense.
I've now worked out why Owen's such a fan of Oasis. Best Picture, the 9. Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
We all went with the Big Sick.
AJ did the best with 8. We all went on Big Sick. Me and Owen both missed on I, Tonya, and Owen also went with Molly's Game because of the whole...
I went against The Post. That was a mistake. Phantom Thread I didn't think was going to be a big of a challenger, but The Post was one of the ones... When I said during the actual predictions that I had nothing for The Post, I could hear everybody like in their voice, like telling me that it's like, oh, you're making a huge mistake. And I did make a huge mistake, and now I pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Did either one of you go Phantom Thread?
Nope. That was where you were right, despite not having it anywhere else.
And speaking of speaking of not having anywhere, Darkest Hour we all missed on too. I didn't think it was going to be that strong of a movie.
Hang on. Oh yeah, we both missed that as well. Oh, because that was where Big Sick went in. Yeah. Well, I guess if you can get The Post in for just one sort of nomination, and the weird, because Darkest Hour's got a lot of technical nominations. But, mainly it's, Well,
remember... Let's not forget Selma got in picture with just a song nomination.
True.
And that was with one less slot. In place of Foxcatcher, goddammit.
Yeah, no lie.
Mark.
we all love Foxcatcher.
I still love that bit from the trailer when it's like, just the way he says Mark. It's just like Mark. It's like the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Like,
his nose suddenly makes so much more sense.
Oh wow, that's great.
That's
so
now whenever they have like deleted scenes or whatever, when the bloody sound guy comes in and goes, Marker, It's like I can't take it seriously just because of Foxcatcher. Yes.
By the way, I would love to mention that we've been talking for like almost a straight 2 hours, and then once we finally list all the Best Picture nominees, we had just like 2 instances of dead air there.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So is that what happens?
I think that's the first time though that I've come top in terms of the predictions, just for the actual nomination reveal thing. Not by much, as I say, because there was only 4 correct picks separating the 3 of us. So
if I didn't try to be hot shit on a few of these, I probably could have.
That's always what happens, though.
That's always what happens. Yeah, it's always those shorts. It's always the technicals where we, documentary where we all suffered, and short and quite a lot of the short ones and everything. Most important thing is to show you how obvious some of these are. There was none of them where we got completely everything wrong, which I think might have happened once before. Possibly.
That's a rare occurrence if that happens, though, because usually one of the 3 of us is going to get something.
I think that was like a couple of years before, when it was like we're just picking these shorts on the name, whereas now it's like we can actually see them because they're putting them out there. I still remember like a couple of years ago, and we just went, yeah, I think it was you and me, Owen, that went for the one that sounded like Ray. I don't know, it was Rey Mysterio or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
El Santo or something.
Yeah.
Something like that, because it was. Oh yeah, it's something to do with wrestling. Let's say that one. Let's hope it gets in. All that sort of stuff.
Fair point.
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's our show.
We'll wait to see what happens March 4th in 4 weeks.
It's crazy. Bry Guy said, The Blind Side, A Serious Man, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, Selma, and Now the Post.
I'll go through that list again.
Blind Side, A Serious Man, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, Selma, and the Post.
Well, at least 2 of those 5 are good.
Yeah, I'm with you exactly on that. Completely.
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, not so much. I'd say Blindside was solid enough.
No, after The Blind Side, AJ, there's only one thing I needed.
A bed.
Yes! Woo!
Was it a beard with Mark?
So comedy. God. A Serious Man does hold a distinction of being the first movie I ever saw in Athens.
May very well have been the first time we saw Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Well, we knew when we knew who it was.
Yeah, surely he did something back in the day we missed or something.
Well, then you said it by me. The first one that I saw there was Call Me by Your Name, so I guess.
Let's see. Yeah, it was, because right after that he had a really great. Oh my God, 2011, 2012, and 2013. Hugo, Men in Black 3, 7 Psychopaths, Lincoln, Hitchcock, Blue Jasmine.
Oh no, I forgot. There is a place I had seen Michael Stuhlbarg 8 years before The Serious Man. He was in The Gray Zone, Tim Blake Nelson's Holocaust movie.
That's correct. And that was his 3rd movie. Actually. Yes. We are a part of the coalition to get Michael Stuhlbarg an Oscar nomination, and we will not be shut down. It will happen.
Somewhere down the line.
That's going to be your show, everyone. If you are so inclined. Oh, real quick. Frog Guy says, now we have to find out what Jimmy Kimmel's going to do. And did you see one of the preview trailers about what happened last year? I have no television, so this would definitely be to either AJ or Ashley.
I don't. Wait, what?
Frog Guy, please elaborate.
I'm just looking at IMDb, and apparently they've announced the Call Me by Your Name sequel.
Oh no.
That's weird.
Why? There's no direction to go.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously,
and
at some point.
Oh, fair point.
You're also going to be seeing him in a few weeks because apparently he's got a supporting role in The Looming Tower, which is on Hulu, like towards the end of February. And then he's also in Gore, which has the problem because it's the Kevin Spacey film about Gore Vidal, which is on indefinite hiatus.
So, like I said, that's your show, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Brian Guy's like, what? With an exclamation point in between 2 question marks.
Yeah, I know. When I read it, that's why I reacted. It literally says "Call Me by Your Name" sequel announced.
Honestly, if they were to do that, you know how they should do it? They should do it like the Before trilogy, where there's like long periods of time before they reunite.
That would make sense.
Let me just look at the IndieWire article. He's planning a sequel in which the movie will pick up with the characters 3 years later.
Fair point.
9 years is more effective, but all right.
Completely agree.
If I pair but the idea is that he wants to film it in 2020, so it's literally 3 years on. So I guess sort of like Star Wars style-esque. Yeah. If I paired the age of Elio in the film with the age of Timothy in 3 years' time, he'd be 25, as would Elio be by the time the second story's set. So ignoring the fact that he's a 17-year-old, but whatever.
I think that's your show.
He also noted in the interview as well, because of the time change, meaning it'd be 1990. You've got a lot of sort of historic sort of stuff, you know, the end of history and Berlusconi and everything, and the war in Iraq. So there's stuff that could apparently be looked on there. But yeah, it's happening apparently.
All right. That's going to be your show. If you're so inclined, join us in a few minutes, literally, for our BAFTA prediction podcast. Bry Guy says 3 billboards sequel, 2 billboards. I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, after John Hawkes attacked, none.
Ooh, that's a good point. Oh, God. Still blame him for Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. Now.
You know you still sing Marcy's song to yourself.
Yeah, I do. I just did right there. Thanks for reminding me.
Mark.
Only for one. Now, that's going to be your show. Bry Guy will be joining us as well. And hopefully, exactly. And only one. Only one. The thing is, everybody, if you want to join us, we're going to be bringing up a new link in a minute. We're not going to continue the party on this. Oh, no, we're going to actually start a brand new link, and it's going to say 2018 BAFTA prediction podcast.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, thumbnails for the win. And that means you're getting 2 podcasts today, and then AJ will be delivering a versus coming up tomorrow. Because I'm going to be at Disney. So, yeah, I'm going to be busy. Yes. And I'm running 8.5 miles tonight after watching about 30 minutes of John Stamos and the Beach Boys. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK.
AJ cannot be found on social media, but he is available via throwindisney@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, or opinions, or if you want to just leave a comment on the bottom of this video or any of the other AJ videos. And to quote a good friend of mine, tell AJ you like his style and tell him to watch The Ghost of Mr. Chicken over and over again. So, shout out Jock Sanson. So that's going to be your show tonight. And once again, we will join you that are continuing along with our BAFTA coverage, which is going to be in a few minutes. And I almost did the wrestling outro there. So instead of saying that, I will say until tomorrow, boys and girls. That's all we got to say about that.
By tomorrow, he means in a few minutes.